add. It is going to add value as per the research. Thank you.
So, right, absolutely. So, we agree with Randeep ji's point that there would be, there cannot be a effective teaching without research at higher education level. But this NEP, offers multiple ways, for research, and it encourages research at higher education level. So, thank you, Meera ma'am, for your response. I'll come back to you. Now, I would request Alka ma'am, if I may present this question to you.
Yes, please do.
This question has come from Miss Millie R. Sumbria ji. Millie ji is principal with Jambu Sanskriti School, Kachua. Question says that she is looking for more clarity, on its implementation, in the class 9th for the upcoming session. So, what would be the immediate impact of NEP for the senior classes, Alka ma'am?
It needs NEP is going to be like immediate effect will be that we are just informing the children of the changes that have come up, because for present 9th there won't be much about of a change, but we have started to make the children aware of the coming time that in middle school we have started to tell them about the NEP. Even the present class 10 students, we have informed them, and these changes will come gradually, but more for the middle school. Then for the coming next 2-3 years, this will be totally put up and will be used in these schools. For present 9th, it will be only like a touch up, and in the sense we'll be informing them of and making them aware of the changes that are about to come, because more of these changes will be benefiting the middle school children, yes, who are trying to affect, for example, and that will be taken up by the from class 9th as seriously, and they have to be used as a hobby class, or as a suppose we are starting with pottery, then we have to start introducing it at the school level, in the sense from class 6 onwards. And then from class 9 to it, there has to be a proper academic line to teach them and make them vocationally sound and skilled.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alka ma'am, for that. I'll come back to you. There is one question in the chat box. Can coding be taught in schools? Are there any coding applications? So there are many coding applications, Rubiji, and can coding be taught in schools? So I believe a big yes, because coding will have to be taught in schools. In last 1 year, we have seen 50+ companies in India who have tried to approach us. So I know they are more than that. So coding in a big way would be taught in schools in next some time. Now I would request Manmita ma'am, if I may present this question to you. This has been asked from Miss Suveen Puri ji. She is principal with Maharaja Hari Singh Agriculture Collegiate School, Nagbani, Jammu. Suveen ma'am wants to know about the changes in the pattern of board examinations.
Yes. Good evening once again. Regarding the board examination, as per the NEP 2020 is concerned, there will be no board examination in class 10th. From 9th to 12th, there will be the semester system. And in class 12, we will be having the main board examination.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking, Manmita ji.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now.
Okay, okay. So, as per the NEP 2020 is concerned, board examination will not be in class 10th like the earlier. And in class 12, we will be having the final examination. From class 9 to 12, we will be having the semester system. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. So this was a very apt response. So question was for 1 mark, and ma'am just gave the response for 1 mark. So thank you, Manmita ma'am. Now I would request, I'll come back to you. Now I would request Jaswinder sir. Sir, this has been a very regular question to us. This has come from language. A lot of people are confused about it. In fact, during our sessions, we have realized that the both side exist. There are people who believe that this multilingual thing would create huge challenge. It has created confusion. There are people who are absolutely clear that this is no compulsion. Schools have this final authority. So, but what is your assessment? Number one. Second, how do you see the place of English in next some years? A lot of people believe that English is going to get diluted as a language.
Okay, so Rajuji, apologies for 1 mark question. I'm going to give you 3 marks worth of answer.
I know that.
I need that. Okay. Now, first, one important thing is when we are talking about how can we have so many languages and what can happen. I've already also said that language is not taught or learned. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to bother about it. You have to create an environment. One. Right? So that is not going to be a confusion. The biggest confusion that people have is that they think that do we have to teach in a local language only? No. The schools have the authority or they have the power to decide that. If an English medium school thinks that they would want to continue with English as the language of instruction, that is okay. Nobody says no. But they should look at one thing, that if you teach in the early years, using, say, we are talking about Jammu, so I will take Hindi to be the most common language there. So let those core subjects be taught in Hindi, but you please continue with English because that is going to be equally important or more important. So that confusion has to be removed. You don't have to teach in that local language only one. But it is always a beneficial thing for the students to know more than one language. They will culturally fit everywhere. They will be able to communicate with everybody and they will be able to speak out their heart. An earlier panelist said there was a small kid who actually wanted to go to the washroom. He could not tell her in English, the teacher in English. By the time the teacher understood, he had already done it. Poor child, no fault of his. Hindi mein keh deta. So that's something that we need to understand. Language is a language for communicating, not for grading you or branding you. But if you really want to survive in the international world, which is becoming smaller, one, we are trying to be Atmanirbhar, that is one thing, but hum to dunya ke Atmanirbhar ban rahe hain. The back office of the world is to be India, the factory of the world has to be India, the service center of the world has to be India. So English has to be there. So English will not lose its importance. We have to bear it in mind. If we are teaching in Hindi, or we are teaching in Punjabi, or we are teaching in Urdu or Tamil or Gujarati, equally and more important is English that needs to be done. Why these languages? Because the child understands better. Second, nationalists. We need to make nationalists out of our people. They should love their country. We already do that. And that's the reason we are a strong nation. Coming to one more point, the extra point that I want to talk about, when they said that research, how is it going to help? What? My point is education is research. What is research? Digging down to finding out what you want to know more. But there's one problem there, and that is linked to languages. For research, our students have to read. And what we have found, we are doing a project with two state governments, where we have realized that increasingly the students are reading less. Increasingly over the years, the students are reading less. We need to make them good readers. Very important. So all schools, if you want, I can give you my document that I've, created from 20 pages. We have realized that they are not reading. And when you don't read, the brain works less. There is a scientific study done by a university in America. So what we did, schools have libraries, but those libraries book goes home and then it comes back, no guarantee whether it's read. So what we did, we started working in projects, and where I did a project, I did this project in a city known as Bina in Sagar district in MP. छोटा सा city है, 3 स्कूल है मैम, सिर्फ 3 स्कूल है इंग्लिश मीडियम के, उसमें एक स्कूल के 10 बच्चों को, सेकंड स्टैंडर्ड के बच्चों को ले लिया मैंने, and those second standard kids I started teaching them English online. Okay, वो हिंदी के अलावा बात नहीं करते थे, and then gave them books to read which are digital books. So what we did, we made them listen to the story. And we said, now copy that. Read according to that. So they were improving their English, but they were also inculcating a habit of reading. So what I would suggest is, please in your schools, make it important that they read, because reading is the basis of research. What we are talking about research, it will start in class 5 also. Say, if you want to teach, normally what I do, if I have to take a session today on volcanoes, I'll come and say, okay, chapter number 5, I'm going to teach volcanoes. But ideally, flipped classroom, it should not work. I should tell yesterday that tomorrow I'm going to take a session on volcanoes. I want each and every child to give me 10 lines on volcanoes. What the kids are going to do? Straight go Google and look for volcanoes. Unfortunately, they will not be able to find 10 lines. They will find 10,000 lines. So they will pick up the kind of thing that they want and then put it forward. And everybody put it forward. Peer group learning, experiential learning, and that's how they will never forget, because they got it from their friends. Again, this thing comes back to reading. So please make sure that reading habits actually happen. And there, yes, but that has to be English, because the internet is full of English. So you need to understand English will not lose its importance, but we should not underestimate our local languages, because we have a lot of literature, a lot of knowledge, a lot of important information buried into those books of ours, and our students should access them. 50 में से एक भी कर लेगा ना संस्कृत में, तो बहुत कुछ आगे आ जाएगा. So that's why I say all languages are important. English is not going to lose its importance. That's my point onto that. 3 marks, done.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir, though it was for 10 marks. Thank you. Now, we have also received 2 questions in the chat box. One from Ms. Anita Gupta ji. Will artificial intelligence be included at the middle level? Rohini ma'am, I would request if you would like to attempt it. What do you see the role of artificial intelligence in our schools? You are
Definitely, I would like to say, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So here, I would like to say artificial intelligence as of now, we, have been dealing with so many gadgets. What is all this? Our mobile phone, it's again a use of artificial intelligence, computers or whatever we're using. But yes, as per NEP, we need to formalize this because we can't do away technology and everything will be in blended form in the future to come. So artificial intelligence right from the start of the school, it has to be blended in our day-to-day teaching. What to talk of even pre-primary to even class 1 upwards, it has to be there. We need to teach the children the coding, decoding aspects of the technology, and this is where the artificial intelligence comes in play. So I think it is right from the early age to the senior classes to the higher education, artificial intelligence is going to be there. It is already there and is going to be there in future too.
Absolutely. Yes, right. So thank you, Rohini ma'am, for your response. And now I would request Sushantji, if I may present the next question to you. This has come from...
Yes, please.
Yeah. We this question has come from Ms. Archana Singh. Archana Singh is from LIP School, Sitapur, Uttar Pradesh. The question says, how do the socio-economic differences can be covered up with national education policy? If you can highlight 2 main points from NEP, how it would bridge that gap, Sushantji.
Sure. First, I would like to say that there are a lot of socio-economic differences prevailing before NEP. And now NEP has come, it has got a lot of things inculcated in it, as there are a lot of points being raised by Jaswinder sir regarding language. So language, I foresee, is one of the, points where a lot of differences are made in terms of English, Hindi, regional languages. So that socioeconomic, in that socioeconomic sense, language is one of the things which is, now would be a level playing field in there. Then there are a lot of wide range of courses. There are a lot of, credit rating system which is getting introduced through NEP. That will again become one of the value added point in the marking system, as well as multi-entry and exit points in the reading structure in the classes, so that in institutions when you forward, 12th forward. So all these points I foresee will be a better making NLP a better option in terms of socio-economic approach.
Right. Thank you, Sushantji. And before I ask our key speakers for the concluding remark, we have two more questions in the chat box. Alka Negi ma'am, I would request if you can take on this one. This has come from Ms. Ruby Chauhan. The question says, how can the school track students' learning levels? Are co-curricular activities, vocational activities, academic streams be regarded as, at par? Alka ma'am?
Yes, sure. We can always assess their learning capabilities through assessments that take place as now as it will be in semester system. Otherwise, at present, it is in term 1, term 2. By their reading, even we can, if the child is with us for a longer period of time, then we can really assess his capabilities more well. Because
I have a supplementary question here. Let's say there are 30 students in a class. Do we have any practical tools currently in schools which are being used by schools to assess the difference individual capabilities or the growth of individual students of those 30 students?
Yes, you know how we do when we make a question paper. It's divided into certain parts. That few questions are basically for the children who don't respond in class, who are not so, we can say, attentive in class or concentrate. And certain questions are that all can do. Certain number of questions are always there. And few set of questions are certain, if I talk about it in academic sense. Even then we look, that is another part, that we always cater to the students' capabilities while making question paper. We don't make a very all difficult question like it is, and few are for the cream of the creams that we call, that who can be more critical in answering. The questions are made in such a manner. Then while playing also, we just come to know while we have our extracurricular activities. Some excel in say co-curricular activities, we can call them. It can be art, it can be dancing, it can be like music, dance, and then sports. We have seen children excelling in that, and just leveling and balancing.
Right. And before I go to Meera ma'am, I would request Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder, I recall that you had that assessment, part. You also did, your thing. So I would request if you can quickly, highlight some technological tools which we can use to, achieve this.
Yeah, so see what is very important is what the question actually was, that how can you put a student at par with an academic subject and sport and music together. So what we have is, for each and every subject, you have parameters and you grade that student according to the parameters. Now, if a person is not good at, say, mathematics, but is very good at music, now those music marks are as important as mathematics. Because in life, we are talking about real life, mathematics may not be important for him, but music will be. So he should be given due regards and credits for that, and that's what we do. So when we talk about assessments, so we last year did, before COVID, we did assessments in 18 countries for English. So what we do is we pick up different parameters, and in those parameters, we have to design questions in such a way that you ask them in and around what you want to test, and you ask one thing multiple times, so that an answer by fluke is not result, or a wrong answer by mistake should not grade them low. So whenever you create assessments, whether that is for English, mathematics, science, music, sport, anything, you need to cover all the aspects of learning that have been delivered. Okay, so what we do is we take questions in and around, and they should be all by the way questions. So when you get them, then you get it. And what we generally do, it instead of giving grading that he got 50% or 70% or he got A, B, or C, what we do is we actually work on correct answers, distractors, almost correct, and incorrect answers. And what we do is we give them a heat map. So when you give them a heat map, what actually happens is the students are able to understand each and everything. If you can just give me 1 second, I can show you a heat map of this thing. Just 1 second. I've just, fortunately, I'm sitting on the same computer with this. So I'm going to, yeah, okay. So can you see the screen, everybody? Is the screen seen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what we have now, suppose what we do is initially we say is, we categorize into each question how many of them were able to give correct or incorrect. But what we generally do is, to the management or to the individuals, we give a heat map. Now, what is a heat map? There are three colored boxes here. If it is pink in color, that's a correct answer. If it's orange, that's a distractor, almost correct. And if it is brown, it is incorrect. So what happens is, these parameters let the educationists or the people who decide what are the skill gaps, they can know within one view that where exactly is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. But if you look at here, almost nobody could give the correct answer. So then we don't say that this is the problem of the child. This is the problem of the teacher, the educator who delivered thing. Maybe he or she should do it in a different manner. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you actually want to look at assessments, you have to go deep down using questions in and around the kind of things that you do, and use them multiple times, because a lot of kids do and that is not going to be correct. And when you have these assessments should not be to grade a child, should be to find out the skill gaps or find out the gaps in learning, and they should be taken as the basis of the teacher to go deliver the next session. In fact, for each session, if you can have a heat map, great thing for a teacher. He or she can decide well what he or she should do in the next session. So assessments are very important. NEP talks about 360-degree assessment. That means if I'm not good at mathematics, which I'm actually not, but if I'm good at English, I should not be looked down upon. If I'm good at mathematics, cricket, why not? So
Right,
that,
sir.
that will decrease the fallouts. People who are said tum gande ho, you are not an intelligent child, they actually go away because they don't like being said that you're not good. But if they're good in some subject, if that report card says so, that dignity comes in. It's all about self-respect. So I think 360-degree, that will help onto that. Yeah.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you, Jaswinder sir. And after this, we'll come to the concluding part. We have one more question in the chat box. I would request Meera ma'am, if you can take on this. Munmun College is asking, is NEP again highlighting CCE? In fact, a lot of educators in the past have also shared that NEP in some way is the extension of CCE. So, what are your assessment, Meera ma'am?
Thank you for giving another opportunity. In my opinion, it is not at all CCE. It is including much more parameters to be assessed for a student. CCE was to an extent very restrictive. And here, for every exam, NEP is guiding us to opt for formative. There was equal emphasis for summative exams also. That is the major difference between CCE and this new education policy. As well, one more thing that is totally different is the pattern of examination. For 10th and 12th even, the child can get two opportunities. One is the main examination and another is for improvement. Without discriminating, usually present scenario is that the student who is failing or at the verge of failing are appearing for improvement. But in NEP, that is totally different. In a announced way, NEP is giving 10th and 12th student two opportunity in the year they are going to appear for exam. One will be the main exam and another will be the improvement exam. No such scenario as there in CCE. There what we are doing, we were adding on, all summative and formative were added, and ultimately based upon that, the student was going to be assessed. That was truly giving a wrong picture. Here, ultimately the child will be assessed by the final board 10th and 12th that is going to be conducted, and also for the 3rd, 5th and 8th standard, that will be there in the backdrop of the overall assessment card the child is going to carry. Such thing was totally missing there. In CC, only one class evaluation was there. But as per new education policy, we are going to retain the whole learning map of the student. And that is going to add to our national policies. All policies are going to be covered. We are going to get musicians through our assessment pattern. We are going to get sports person through our assessment pattern. This is a very unique thing, and this is going to change the whole society. That is the difference.
Right. Thank you, Meera ma'am, for that. And with this, we come to the end of this very special session. But before we end the session, I would request our key speakers if we can have your concluding remarks. And we have also established one very interesting practice that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also share an idea, which you would like to implement as your priority, or if you get a chance to become Minister of Education. So let's say you are Minister of Education for one day, so what would be your priority? हमेशा से कहते आते हैं कि भाई ये भारत सरकार क्या कर रही है. So let's say you are given the charge for one day. So what would be your priority? You all deserve to be Minister of Education in very sense. So I'll come to you randomly, so that you cannot fix your answers. So I would request Jaswinder sir. Sir, if we begin with you, your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Okay. When we talk about my concluding remark, it obviously has to be based on NEP. Like I said, it is a disruptive thing. A lot of things to be done. It is a very, very ambitious thing. But let's not worry about it. Let's go approach it piecemeal. Do this part, then go to the second. Let's not look at that. How will we do all this? Because if you look at all this, it looks like an impossible task. So let's go piecemeal, do one part, do the other part, and let's put all our energies together. See the implementer or and we all say that it's a beautiful thing, but we also question, can it be achieved? Yes, if you do it piecemeal. Rome was not built in a day. So let's make our policy over the years. They have given us 10 years to do that. It's okay. We are talking about our next generation to be affected, not the tomorrow's child. Okay, tomorrow's graduate. So let's take it up as a piecemeal. That is one thing. Second thing, what you're asking me is, what would I want to do if I were to be the education minister for a day? I said even 1 hour is enough. What I would want to do is let everybody know that this NEP is a great document. Okay, we put in our efforts, we get things done, we put in the kind of policies, we put in the kind of rules, we get infrastructure ready, we get in all the money, we do everything. But unless we work on our teachers who are the soul of this policy, nothing is going to be achieved. Nothing is going to be achieved, right? Because infrastructure cannot do anything. We say, okay, artificial intelligence, I am an IT person. I run an IT company. I understand technology, but technology cannot bring in emotions. So you need to have a teacher. You need to have this teacher trained how to work on this thing. And so that teacher training is important. But before that, you need to have the right kind of people joining the education industry. You can train somebody on a subject, but you can't train their mindset. You can't bring in passion. So if people who are passionate, if they come into this education industry, this will work. But for that, what we need to do is not only give them the right kind of remuneration, they need to be given the right kind of respect and position in the market. Earlier, the gurus, we used to touch their feet. Today, we don't do that. Why? These are the people who are making our future. So what I would do is I would make the educationists, I would make the teachers the first class citizens of the country. Then the others come into that. So for this, what I have done, I have on a mission, and it is my mission. I want it, if you can make it your mission. I would like to share one small screen with you. If you can help me into that, what we are trying to do is, let me talk about this thing. Okay. What we are trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that each doctor, each and every doctor writes a DR as a prefix. A chartered accountant writes CA. An engineer writes what? A ER. We should also recognize all educationists. Why not write ED in front of our name? Why not let the whole world know that we are the educationists, we are the people who are doing that thing, and let them respect us. If we get the respect, we will never do anything wrong. So that's what I'm saying. I request all of you to write, I would want that if you can all write ED in front of you, ask your teachers to write it, let the world know that we are the change makers. We are the people who are doing, and let's get onto that. So what I've also done is I have taken the liberty of writing this. I don't know how you like this, but I'm sure if this can be done, if we are recognized by writing ED that we are the educators, let's do that. One simple thing, the engineers and doctors of Netherlands, they went to the government and said, why can't we be paid equally as you pay the teachers? You know what was the answer of the government? You are common people and teachers are not common people. They are the people who built you, who made you. So you cannot come at par. That feeling should come into us as teachers. If we are recognized, we will automatically do that. And as it is, we have done a lot. Look at what teachers did during this pandemic. The only kind of people who are not supported by the government, but they supported the students. You must have heard what happened 2 days back in Bangalore. 3,000 teachers on one flyover, and they were only from 30 schools. Right? So let's get on to that. So my request to all of you is that spread this word. Government, we should not expect them to do that. Spread the word, start writing ED in front of you, and let's take it right. I am sure we will be recognized. If we are recognized, we will do a good job. As it is, teachers are doing a good job in this country. Thank you so much, Rajulji. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaswinder sir, for this wonderful mission and best wishes. And we all appreciate your efforts. Now, I would request Manvita ma'am. Manvita ma'am, I also would request, like we have also got one question in the chat box. So I would request that before giving your concluding remark, if you can take on this question. Munmun College is asking, if we crash board examination, are not we again building a quantity rather than quality? So what are your assessment? Crashing board exams, how it would impact, how it would affect the quality? Munmun ma'am, and then for your concluding remarks.
Okay.
Manvita ji.
Crashing the board exam, I don't think it will harm children. It will hamper the enthusiasm or the energy of the students of our education sector, because it's up to you. As I'm very agree, 100% agree with Jasbinder ji. He told that our first target should be our teachers. If teachers will be trained well, so definitely they can handle the situation in each and every class, like from 9 to 12, as we have the semester system. If our teachers are trained, to definitely step by step, they can give that growth to the children. And examination, it hardly matters. If they have the concept clear at the initial stage in class 9th, 10th, then there will be no harm, I think, crashing the board examination.
Okay. Thank you, Manvita ma'am. Now I would request you if we can have your concluding remark. And what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Very complicated question, first of all. I'm a very simple, very ordinary human being. And if I will be the education minister of India, so definitely I will respect and appreciate wholeheartedly this education and policy that come forward to us. And it's a policy which I would like to say again, this policy is giving children the wings of technology along with the values, along with their values, because they will be given the technological skills along with their mother tongue, their traditions, and everything they're getting in one plate. So if I'll be the education minister of this country, so definitely I will be working for the full successful implementation, the brilliant implementation of this
education minister we kar rahe hain. I would request, what would be your, let's say, one priority, one action plan कि ये काम मैं करूँगी जो आज नहीं हो रहा है शायद.
Right. So that I would like to mention that I think somewhere the lacking of the academic leadership should be trained.
Wonderful.
The academic leaders should be trained, because as a human being, we are learning every day, every moment. So as an academic leader, we should also get trained so that we can help our teachers. We are talking about the teachers training, but academicians, the academic leader, the edu leaders should be also trained at high level as well as in the basic level.
Wonderful. So we all agree with you, Manvita ma'am. In fact, a lot of other participants have also shared during previous sessions that we need to have education leadership must be governed by the educationists, must be governed by the academicians. These policies must be, we should have that very active participation in the policy making. So thank you, Manvita ma'am, for that. Thank you for joining and sharing your remarks. Now I would request Sushant ji, if I may ask you for your concluding remark. And what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Thank you, Rajuji.
Apart from the additional charge of Health Ministry.
सर हमारे लिए सर ऑलरेडी हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री की तरफ से इतना बढ़िया आ गया, वी डोंट नीड टू ऐड एनीथिंग मोर इन इट. द लास्ट थिंग व्हिच कैन बी एडेड इन मिनिस्ट्री इज आवर कंपनीज नेम ओनली. So I would like to give you a concluding remarks that NEP is a very elaborative document, and the kinds of emphasis that is put on physical and mental health of a child is simply, going to give wings to the children in terms of getting mentally ready towards the new era which is coming. This is going to be a new era which would be formulating. We are formulating a new India, and the kind of the roadmap which has been laid by ministry right now under NEP is very, very encouraging for all of us. And in the last, as I've already said, that they have already taken care of our business very well. So I would like to stay with what these guys have said for healthcare.
You're saying that this is a time not to become education minister. This is a time to become into the the field of education. So thank you, Sushantji. We understand your sentiments. Thank you. Now I would request Meera Srivastava ma'am. Meera ma'am, if I may ask you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Thank you for giving this opportunity. From my side, the concluding remark is going to be through NEP. The message is we can develop our country by developing each individual. In particular, their cognitive development is going to be manifested in terms of country's development, and that is really very appreciable. And as Education Minister, I would like to incline every student towards the philosophy of India, because in day-to-day life we never get an opportunity to go through the philosophies, ancient philosophies we are having, including Vivekananda philosophy. That we never get that opportunity. So I am going to add on that in the regular curriculum for every class of a student, so that they can get the real peace that we need as a complete human being. Thank you.
Thank you, Meera ma'am. We appreciate that. Thank you for that. Now I would request Rohini Aima ma'am, before I go to Alka Negi ma'am. Rohini ma'am, if I may request you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, thanks for giving this platform to me, where wonderful educators have given their inputs, and it's a great learning in today's session. Yes, I very well agree that we talk about 360-degree assessment for the children. So I feel for the 360-degree assessment that the teachers have to conduct for the students, for the same teachers, we need to develop 360-degree training programs, first of all, for these teachers to implement this education policy in true spirit. And the next is the atmosphere in the school should be open, happy, and collaborative, where the second part that you told me, that if I have to become a Minister of Education, I would again say, rather than me as Education Minister, the policies I will leave up to the educators to frame for education sector. But one with a good message from my side will be, frame the policies where, again, Jaswinder sir has been talking about, you give the values to the children with most priority topic that you should love your nation. That should be the message from the minister, but policies need to be developed by the educators. This is what I would like to say.
Right. Thank you, Rohini ma'am. We all agree with your perspective, and we highly appreciate that. Thank you. And now I would request Alka Negi ma'am. Alka ma'am, we would like to conclude the session with your concluding remark. And what would be your thought, your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Do you know, I used to always think when I used to teach, when I teach class 9, 10 sometime, that I would make moral science a compulsory subject till college. You know why? Because we will bring out good human beings. We'll bring out skilled people fighting for jobs, competitiveness, everything, critical thinking. But if they are not good human beings, nothing will work. So what I would really do is I will make moral science compulsory as a subject till college. There has to be a period of that because we tend to forget it after 10th. 12th, it ebbs down. By college, when the children need it the most, it's missing. Some of them are really, they're really good. They are really disoriented. They don't get any counseling home. They don't have, like some have come from, like I live in Uttarakhand. We have so many children coming from Garhwal. That language problem is there. We had children coming from typical from interiors, and they didn't know anything except Garhwali. We happen to tackle that. And these children only, they lack self-confidence till a certain level. Even when they come out from Garhwal at 12th and then they join colleges, they don't mix up. They need some counseling sessions where there is a need to build their confidence. So I always felt that you asked me, you gave me this platform. So I've come up with my idea. I would really make moral science on one lesson. It may sound funny, but even after college, in college, it should be compulsory where teachers and some counseling sessions where they can interact and with one-on-one. If they have any problem, they're welcome. It happens in schools also. When we are in, it happens that certain children, when we just see them changing from class 8 to 12, we talk to them and they come out with their problems. And sometimes they have simple solutions which we can offer them. And thank you, India International Education Council organizers. Rajul, thank you for being the facilitator. It was a wonderful session, speaking in front of all the augmented dignitaries. Meera ma'am, Manmita ma'am, Rohini ma'am, Jaswinder sir, and all, and Sushant sir, everybody, and all the listeners. Thank you. You have been very patient. It was a wonderful evening spent.
Thank you. Thank you, Alka ma'am, for that. And we agree with your perspective. And in the end, I would thank all the key speakers, Rohini ma'am, Meera Srivastava ma'am, Alka Negi ma'am, Manmita ma'am, Jaswinder sir, Sushant sir for joining and making this session truly special. I also thank all the participants who have been with us to the entire session. Thank you all. We'll end the session here. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Pleasure
you
being
so
with
much.
you all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
उतना अच्छा नहीं हुआ लेकिन बाद में मुझे एक दो बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन आई वाज एबल टू आंसर इन अ वेरी गुड वे.